And if we can turn to you, Audrey, and another related global challenge, plastic pollution. You spoke last year, I think, about the circular economy opportunity for investment banks. And I know this has been a focus for Morgan Stanley for a few years now, including with the plastic waste resolution. I'm just wondering, how have your discussions with clients on this topic evolved in the past rather eventful year? And how do you see progress in tackling plastics pollution?
Thanks so much, Judith. It has been actually a very fascinating evolution over the past couple of years. When we launched our plastic waste resolution, actually more than 2 years ago now, and we made a pledge that Morgan Stanley would facilitate the prevention, reduction, or removal of 50 million tons of plastic waste from ending up in nature. I think initially the reaction was, oh, that's really great. But there wasn't necessarily a complete understanding of why we as a global financial institution would be tackling plastic waste. I think very, early on, the more natural question is, isn't that something more for the chemical companies or the consumer packaging companies? And, the reason that we did it was we had this real conviction that because plastic is so permeated and woven through every single aspect of the economy and, all of our personal lives, we had to have sort of a full economy approach to it. And that meant every sector, including finance, as a major enabler across that. In fact, when we did a poll of investors, because through the Morgan Stanley Institute for Sustainable Investing, we're continually polling investors about their interests in sustainable investing. I'd say with respect to this topic, there's two very interesting trends I would highlight. One, we've seen an increasing trend in investors being more and more interested, not just in sustainable investing generally, but in very specific targeted themes. And when we ask them, what themes are you most interested, the very top three were climate change, plastic waste reduction, and circular economy. And I would just conclude by saying, I think that really resonates with a lot of things that Paul are saying, that increasingly, I think there's been a real shift of people not just seeing circular economy as something that in many people's minds invokes, ooh, that must mean less growth, right? If we're using stuff over and over again and we're producing less stuff, that must be less growth. People are now understanding that can actually be an incredibly compelling growth opportunity and therefore investment opportunity. So we've been very excited to see the progress there.
That's so interesting. And it sounds like the conversations with clients are sort of rapidly becoming increasingly sophisticated.
Absolutely. More sophisticated, more really trying to understand not only sort of what is the output, but really how does plastic waste reduction and a circular economy way of thinking become a part of the business value drivers of a corporation or of an investment strategy. And if you really, I think people are much more interested in things where companies are saying, we are going to rethink our design, rethink our supply chain, rethink our end of life capture, rather than saying we're going to host a lovely cleanup or we're going to write big checks towards some lovely cause. It's really about how do you use your business as a driver to create more value and also to create investment benefits of lower cost of materials, lower cost of waste, et cetera.